The rain came suddenly, slashing through the twilight as if the sky itself had broken open. Victoria Hale gripped the steering wheel of her red SUV, feeling it tremble beneath her control as the car wobbled and rolled to a stop on the lone stretch of road cutting through the forest. She exhaled sharply, her breath fogging the windshield. She already knew something was wrong. The flat tire hissed its final protest as she stepped out into the downpour, her heels sinking instantly into mud. She was drenched within seconds, but she didn't care about her soaked clothes or ruined makeup. She just needed to get back on the road. But the jack was flimsy, the bolts wouldn't budge, and her shivering hands lacked the strength she wielded so firmly in the courtroom. A judge with unmatched composure, she'd withstood furious lawyers, heated allegations, heartbreak cases. But here, alone in the storm, she felt vulnerable and unbearably defeated. She tried calling for help, but her phone stared back with a taunting no service. The realization settled on her chest like a weight. She was stranded. Thunder rumbled overhead as if mocking her. Just as her hope began to wane, the glare of headlights cut through the sheets of rain. She stood still, heart pounding, as the beat-up pickup truck slowed beside her. A man stepped out, soaked from boots to collar, his rough jacket clinging to his broad shoulders. His face, shadowed by rain, held an expression she couldn't place. Steady, determined, gentle. "I need a hand, ma'am," he called out over the downpour, voice deep and calm. Victoria hesitated. Years of caution screamed for distance, but something in his tone made her trust him instantly. "Yes," she said breathlessly. "I can't get the bolts off." The man nodded, knelt at the tire, and pulled out his own tools. "My name's Noah," he said simply, working with practiced ease. Within minutes, the tire was changed. He stood, wiping rain from his forehead with the back of his hand, and she caught a glimpse of something deep in his eyes, kindness marred by exhaustion. Thank you," she said, voice barely steady. He tipped her a soft smile before turning to leave. "Just helping where I can," he said, glancing back. "Take care out here. Roads get rough." And with that, he was gone, swallowed by the storm. She didn't know his full name, not yet, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she'd see those steady eyes again, soon, for oh. The following morning, Victoria walked through the courthouse corridor with her usual poise, her heels clicking across polished marble as she carried her coffee and case files under her arm. She had barely slept, haunted by the image of the man who had helped her in the rain. Noah. Something about his quiet strength and weary eyes lingered strangely in her thoughts. Shaking off the distraction, she stepped into her courtroom, her fortress of justice and control. Her assistant handed her the morning docket, and the first case on the list sent a jolt through her chest. Noah Briggs versus Child Protective Services, custody reassessment hearing. She felt winded staring at the page. Noah Briggs? It had to be coincidence. Or fate, she thought faintly. The double doors opened, and in walked the man from the storm, wearing the same weathered jacket, his eyes filled with a mixture of anxiety and resolve. He didn't yet notice her. Victoria swallowed, collected herself, and nodded to the bailiff to begin the hearing. "Mister?" "Briggs," she started, her tone composed yet tinged with something deeper. "You are here today to address allegations of emotional neglect and insufficient living conditions as reported by Child Protective Services." Noah stood tall, even under scrutiny. "Your Honor, I understand how it looks," he said softly but firmly. "I work 2 jobs. I don't have much, but I make sure my daughter is fed, safe, and loved with all I've got." His voice trembled just slightly, and Victoria saw it, the same raw devotion she'd heard in the storm. She reviewed the file. Unpaid bills, missed school meetings, low income, but no sign of abuse. No drugs. No violence. Just a man overwhelmed by survival. The social worker pressed her case. Maya was often left in aftercare. Clothes worn. Home unstable. Mister? Mister. "Briggs," Victoria asked gently, "do you have any support?" He shook his head slowly. Just me." The courtroom fell silent. Victoria leaned back, seeing beyond reports to the man beneath, with his hands of a provider, his heart of a father. The father. Her gavel felt heavier as she spoke. "In light of Mr. Briggs' efforts and the evident bond with his daughter, this court dismisses the case with the condition that he enrolls in the county's family support program." Noah exhaled, tears welling. Thank you. I won't let you down." As he left, Victoria sat still, changed. For the first time in years, she had not just judged a man. She had seen him, That evening, long after the courtroom emptied and the city lights blinked under the dark sky, Victoria sat alone in her quiet, minimalist office. The ticking of the clock echoed louder than usual. Noah Briggs' case hovered in her thoughts like a soft but persistent melody. She had spent years building a reputation as a fair judge, stern but balanced. Yet this case had reached beyond her judgment, tapping at her humanity. She recalled how he stood, nervous yet grounded, pleading not with excuses but with sincerity. She thought of his daughter, Maya, whose picture sat in the case file, dark curls, bright eyes full of trust. The thought of that little girl losing her father over circumstances he fought so hard against unsettled Victoria's soul. She picked up a fountain pen, hesitated, then began writing with unusual softness. "Dear Mr. Briggs, I wanted to thank you. Not just for what you did for me that night on the road, but for opening my eyes in ways no case file ever could." Her hand moved steadily. "You reminded me that real justice isn't just in the law. It's in seeing the whole person behind it. You taught me that kindness is not a weakness, but a strength that changes lives." She folded the letter and tucked inside the contact information of a friend who ran a community employment program. "This could be a step toward something more stable for you and Maya," she wrote. Sealing the envelope, she felt the weight of something shift inside her, a loosening, a return to something she'd forgotten in the strict lines of her career. Weeks passed, and in a small kitchen across town, Noah stood with trembling hands as he opened her letter. His rough fingers traced the careful handwriting, his eyes burning with emotion. She wrote this?" he whispered, voice cracking. Maya, perched at the table coloring, looked up. "Daddy, what's wrong?" He bent down, pulling her into a hug. "Nothing's wrong, baby. It's just someone believed in us." Noah reached out to the program, and within weeks he received an offer for a full-time position at a repair shop. Steady hours, good pay, benefits. That night he cooked pancakes with Maya, laughing when they inevitably burned. He glanced at the rain outside, felt peace rising in his chest, and whispered, "Thank you, Judge Hale." He didn't know it yet, but this was just the beginning of everything that would change. Spring arrived gently, bringing soft rain showers and a fresh breeze that carried the scent of new beginnings. Noah stood before a small gathering at the county's family support ceremony, clutching a worn cap in his hands. The auditorium was filled with families and officials, all celebrating stories of resilience and transformation. He had been invited to speak, not because he was perfect, but because he was proof that determination, when met with compassion, could rewrite even the most challenging stories. He adjusted the microphone nervously, his daughter Maya sitting proudly in the front row, feet swinging. "I'm not a man of many words," he began, the room quieting instantly. "I've been fighting for a long time. Sometimes I thought I was losing." His voice wavered but grew steadier with each memory. "Then one stormy night, I helped someone stranded on the road. Didn't think much of it, just doing what my mama told me. Help where you can, no matter who's watching." He paused, eyes finding his daughter. "Well, I didn't know that stranger would be the judge deciding my case. And I guess she didn't know I'd end up being more than a file in her hands." A murmur passed through the audience. In the back of the room, Victoria Hale sat quietly, chin slightly lifted, eyes glistening. Noah continued, his voice warmed by gratitude. She saved my family by seeing more than what was written. She believed in me before I could believe in myself. And because of that, I'm here today with a job, with a home, and with this little girl who thinks I'm a hero even when I burn the pancakes." Laughter rippled gently. When his speech ended, the audience rose in applause, though Noah simply bowed his head in humility. After the ceremony, Victoria approached slowly. Their eyes met, the silent recognition of something profound passing between them. "You changed my life, Your Honor," Noah said softly. "No," she replied, her voice gentle but firm. "You changed mine. Sometimes justice needs to feel human." "You reminded me of that." They shared a quiet, understanding smile. No courtrooms, no rain, no roles, just two people whose lives had crossed in the most unexpected way. As they stepped outside, the rain began to fall, not harsh, but calm and cleansing. And both looked up, knowing that sometimes a storm doesn't come to break you, but to clear your path.